Hey guys, Rednote here. Welcome to a new League of Legends guide on Yorick the Gravedigger. Before I start, I want to say that if you are looking for a quick build with Masteries because you're playing Yorick and you are new to him or in loading screen, then I suggest you click on this link to go to my Yorick Champion quick build. Today I'll be going through how to play Yorick, build him, and give you some general tips and tricks that you can use on this champ. First I want to go through Yorick's passive and abilities so that we have some knowledge of him before we start going through a build. First, his passive, Unholy Covenant. In this passive, Yorick takes 5% less damage and his basic attacks deal 5% more damage for each of his active summons. All of Yorick's basic abilities summon a ghoul, and his ultimate Omen of Death summons a Revenant. Ghouls lose 20% of their max health each second and are limited to a duration of 5 seconds being summoned. They take 50% less damage from multi-target abilities and are immune to slows. Ghouls' health are equal to 35% of Yorick's maximum health. Their attack damage is equal to 35% of Yorick's AD. Their armor and magic resistance are equal to 10 plus 2 times Yorick's level, an attack speed of 0.67 on hit per second, and move speed of between 300 and 443 based on your level. Next we have Yorick's Q, Omen of War. This makes his next basic attack, which lasts 10 seconds, and will deal bonus physical damage and summon a Spectral Ghoul. Spectral Ghouls have higher damage than other ghouls, and grant itself and Yorick a move speed buff. The total physical damage is between 330 and 150 plus 120% of your AD. The Spectral Ghoul's attack damage is between 8 and 40 plus 35% of AD, and the move speed increase is between 15 and 35%. This ability will always cost 40 mana and has a cooldown of from 9 to 5 seconds based on the ability's level. Next we have Yorick's W, Omen of Pestilence. This on activation summons a decaying ghoul that will arrive with a violent explosion which deals magic damage in a 100 area radius and slows enemies for 1.5 seconds. The magic damage dealt is from 60 to 200 plus 100% of the AP. The slow is 20 to 40%, and the decaying ghoul's slow aura is 10 to 20%. It has a range of 600, cost from 55 to 75 mana, and a cooldown of 12 seconds. Next we have Yorick's E ability, Omen of Famine. On activation, Yorick steals life from his target, dealing magic damage and healing himself for 40% of the damage dealt, while summoning a ravenous ghoul behind them. This ghoul heals Yorick with each basic attack, and this is halved against minions and monsters. The damage dealt is magic damage and is from 55 to 175 plus 100% of his bonus AD. The Ravenous Ghoul's heal on attack is 35% of Yorick's AD. This has a range of 550, costs between 55 and 75 mana, and a cooldown of between 10 and 6 seconds. Lastly, we have Yorick's ultimate, Omen of Death. On activation, Yorick conjures a Revenant in the image of an allied champion or himself. If that ally takes lethal damage before the Revenant dies, Revenant sacrifices itself to reanimate them and gives them 10 seconds to enact vengeance. A Revenant lasts 10 seconds and has health and damage calculated from the target's totals. Revenant's health are between 50 and 100% of the ally's health, 45 to 75% of their damage is from the ally's AD. It has a range of 900, costs 100 mana, and is a cooldown of between 120 and 90 based on the level. I like to max Yorick's E first, followed by his Q and then his W. This is because his E is a very strong ranged source of damage that also heals him and helps him harass and sustain throughout the lane. His Q is a really good basic attack power up, as it gives you tons of move speed, which especially helps since it allows you to keep up with the enemy while attacking and does tons of damage. It works especially well once you get your Sheen or Triforce. Yorick's W is a very strong ability because it slows down affected enemies and keeps up a status effect which is really strong. I would max it second, but it does magic damage and doesn't scale with AD. and of course, as usual, you would get Yorick's ultimate at levels 6, 11 and 16. Yorick's kit works really well with a mix of attack damage and tankiness, since he has tons of damage through the items you get and his general kit, and his damage works well with healing, so that he always just survives if he has some health and resistances. Okay guys, now let's get to the build. I'm going to start off by going through the summoner spells, followed by the runes and masteries, and lastly the items that we'll be using on this champ. Okay, so for the summoner spells, I like to go with Ignite and Flash, as they work really well together, especially since Yorick is a very dominant early game champion. You can also take Teleport and Flash if you prefer it, or if you expect a certain type of champion or player like Nasus or Rise to take TP. For my runes, I like to go with 9 marks of attack damage, 9 seals of armor, 4 glyphs of flat magic resist, 5 glyphs of scaling magic resist, 1 quint of AD and 2 quints of lifesteal. I like to go with these because they make Yorick pretty tanky early game, but give him plenty of damage and sustain. Though if you don't have those runes or prefer not to use them, then by all means go with some general runes as a beginner, or custom runes as someone who is already used and more experienced in Yorick. For masteries, I like to go with 921-0, since he has such low cooldowns and high damage, but giving himself more tankiness just makes sustained fights so much easier to win and engage in. Now to what I'm sure you guys have been waiting for, let's get to the items. For Yorick, you want to work his kit to the best it can be. You want to begin with a Dorans Shield and 1 health pot, so that you can sustain your early game until you have enough gold to start your lane dominance. After your Dorans Shield, you really want to go for a Tear of the Goddess. This is because Yorick uses so much mana, and you really need to have a lot to keep harassing, which makes the Tear great since it keeps stacking as long as you keep up those abilities. After you get your Tear, you want to go for a Sheen and Mercury Treads. Sheen is what really adds to Yorick's damage, as the on-hit effect is just really strong, and Mercury Treads of course would stop you from getting crowd control due to that tenacity, which means you can follow up with your combos much more easily. Following those 2 items, I'd like to go for a Giant's Belt, which allows you to be more tanky and survive duels and ganks. Following the Giant's Belt, I upgrade my Tear of the Goddess into a Manamune, so that the mana will stack faster, and it will also give you bonus damage based on your mana. I get a Triforce after my Manamune, which really makes Yorick a scary champ since the move speed bonuses it gives you, and the bonus damage is crazy on Yorick's overall kit. After my Triforce, I like to go pretty tanky. Usually I go for a Warmogs, then a Spirit Visage and a Guardian Angel as my last item. The health from Warmogs really helps you survive team fights since you'll be tanking a lot of damage, and a good replacement for Warmogs is also Randuin's Omen, which gives you armor, health and a passive attack speed reduction on enemies. The Spirit Visage really gives you great stats with increased healing, health and magic resist. This is a great item on Yorick because of his E, which steals life, and that is increased by the Spirit Visage. And finally the last item, which is Guardian Angel. This item really speaks for itself, as it will give you armor, magic resist and a passive which prevents you from dying once you reach a certain point of your health. Now, the basic combo you want to use for your E is on hit damage at range, then a W to get the slow off, which allows you to go up to them with your Q and have the bonus move speed after you hit them, and you can either stick to the target or disengage depending on if you want to engage or continue fighting and get a kill. Some more advanced things you can do are just variations of this combo, or you can do things such as use your ghouls strategically to block enemy skill shots such as an Italy Spear or an Ezreal Q with your W, or strategically place ghouls around to reveal target locations such as bushes that you're not sure if they're filled with champions or not. I'd also like to list some champs that I think you might have a hard time playing against. These champs would be more tankier damage champions like Nasus, Xin and Darius. Though these aren't guaranteed to beat Yorick or win lane against him, they'll just need a higher skill level as Yorick to beat, because they are pretty much not direct counters but just champions that Yorick has trouble attacking and taking the health off of. That ends this week's guide. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please like, comment and subscribe, it really helps me out. Videos will come out once a week. Peace guys, Red Note out.